From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to episode 139 of Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and in this episode, I'm dorking out about Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch, with the very handsome producer of this podcast and co-host of my other podcast, Old Movies, New Beer, David Tracy.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for coming on the show, producer David.
Thank you for having me on the show, Dorking Out with Sonia.
So David and I do another podcast together called Old Movies, New Beer.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do this episode kind of old movies, new beer style.
Which means we basically drink beer while we're talking to you.
Which is what we would be doing even if we weren't recording.
Yeah, this is going to be another Sunday night.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we're drinking Sierra Nevada's Narwhal Stout.
Yes.
It is their seasonal beer. Like, you can't get it during the summer. This is like their winter beer, and it's one of our favorites.
It is, yeah.
And we thought we would do this kind of in honor of what Sierra Nevada has kicked off to raise money for campfire.
Yes.
Victims. I get victims. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but
people that have been adversely affected.
There you go. Thank you.
By the terrible campfire. By campfire, we don't mean campfire stout. We mean the actual campfire.
Yeah, people that get sick from drinking too much campfire stout. No, there's a huge fire up in Northern California. It's completely wiped the town of Paradise off the map, and hundreds, maybe thousands of people have lost their homes, and maybe almost 1,000 people have died. And Sierra Nevada is based up in Chico, right outside of that fire. And so they're brewing a special kind of beer to help raise money. And David, you can tell a little bit more about that.
Well, just that it's called Resilience IPA. And the thing that's super amazing about it is that what Sierra Nevada has done is they've basically asked pretty much every brewery in the United States to brew this special recipe IPA that they've created. And then the beer that they sell, 100% of the proceeds will go to those affected by the fire. And well over 100 breweries have stepped in. I don't even know what the total count is. You can actually go to the Sierra Nevada brewing website to see all the breweries. And you can actually tag your little local brewery and see, hey, are you in on this? And also malt suppliers, hop suppliers have been donating to this also, so that breweries can actually get, help with the ingredients to brew this for the sake. And it's really impressive to see the list. And it's nice because when you think about craft beer, Sierra Nevada is one of the first. They're they're family owned. Yeah. And a lot of these craft breweries would not exist today, probably, if it weren't for Sierra Nevada inspired people to brew beer.
It paved the way for a lot of these breweries.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny because you can get Sierra Nevada Pale Ale in London. But it really is a brewery that has had an amazing positive effect on beer in general. Yeah. So it's a great IPA, I bet. I can't wait to drink it.
We are big fans of Sierra Nevada here, not just this Narwhal Stout, which we pretty much buy every winter. It's always in our refrigerator, always.
In the winter. Yeah.
And they make a bourbon barrel-aged Narwhal Stout that's
harder to find.
Bananas. It's so good.
If you like a good kind of a good, I'd say a meaty stout. Yeah. It's a good heavy stout that's not way over the top.
Are you talking about just the regular
the regular narwhal? Yeah. Like, it's a good for the cost.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it's an amazingly good stout.
And then
also it's called narwhal. Come on.
But the bourbon barrel aged narwhal is really boozy and kind of feels thick when you drink. It's super yummy though. I love that one. And not only so they're doing the beer thing, to raise money, but they've been giving free meals to people up in that area who lost their homes too. So if you're one of those people, you could go to the Sierra Nevada brewery and you can just eat.
They had a huge Thanksgiving feast.
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah, they're doing awesome stuff. So I'm really happy to talk about them and drink to them. So cheers.
Cheers to Sierra Nevada.
Oh, I love their drink.
Actually, I already kind of snuck a swig before we cheers.
Oh, did you? I hope that doesn't mean bad things for this podcast.
Yeah, probably.
So let's talk about Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch, which you bought me. You
can talk over it.
I don't want to, though. It's such a pretty song.
Yeah.
He's pretending to be Gizmo right now, and the dog is
No, I
like,
just do that.
and the dog is just cocking his head, so it kind of looks like maybe the dog is singing the song. It's very cute. Anyway,
I'm looking at the dog. The dog's looking at me.
David
He
bought
doesn't know what
me.
I'm doing.
You bought me like a Blu-ray of Gremlins, Gremlins 2, the new batch, and Goonies.
Yeah.
And we hadn't watched it. I've had it for like 2 years or something, and we hadn't watched it.
Still wrapped.
And we watched Gremlins, and then we watched like, I don't know, a trailer or something for Gremlins 2, and I was like, I don't think I've seen it. So then we watched Gremlins 2, and now we've decided to talk about it.
Yeah. Because you've been on an 80s movie.
I have been on an 80s movie kick lately.
Yeah. So, and it's fun to revisit them because some of these, I don't know if I've seen them since
the theater. So did you see, let's start with just Gremlins. Or actually, we could talk about both of them for the start. Did you see these movies in the theater?
I did.
Both of them.
Sure did. Yep.
You know, the first Gremlins opened up the same day as Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
That's a good day.
That's a good day for movies. Yeah, I can tell you I even saw Gremlins at the Grand Lake Theater in Oakland, California.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was, yeah. It was funny, too, because it's Christmassy, but it came out in the summer.
I know.
I don't know why.
It's weird. I did a little reading, and it said that the studio didn't have something to compete in the summer, so they pushed it up.
And they ran it against Ghostbusters.
And Ghostbusters, and I believe Temple of Doom also came out that summer.
Really?
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
That's a crazy summer. And I think that was Beverly Hills Cop, too. Not Beverly Hills Cop 2, but Beverly Hills Cop. Like, that's a pretty...
That was a hit, too.
Yeah. I think when people talk about summer movies in the 80s, I think they probably talk about 1984 a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know if they always lump Gremlins into that. I think they think of Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters.
And that was all summer of 84?
Yeah.
You had the 84 Olympics in LA that year, too.
If you say so.
Yep. And we kept winning everything because Soviet Union weren't out. And so the McDonald's, for everything we win, like people were, and then Simpsons made fun of it.
Oh my God. That's all I could think about when you said that was like how the Krusty Burger was going to give away Krusty Burgers every time the Americans won or something, and the Russians pull out. And it's just a commercial with Krusty. He's crying and he's like, "You people are pigs. Stop eating."
Funny.
So I'm pretty sure I saw Gremlins in the theater.
Yeah.
Probably at the Century, the big dome theater in Pleasant Hill. I never saw Gremlins 2, the new batch. I really thought maybe I had until I saw that trailer and I was like, I don't think I've seen it. And then we watched the movie and I was like, no, I definitely didn't see this, which is weird because it came out in 90 and I saw everything back then. So I don't understand how...
Was it summer of 90?
I think so.
Okay.
I worked at the theater. I saw everything. I can't believe that somehow Gremlins 2 got by me.
Yeah, it snuck by you.
But maybe I saw it and I completely blacked it out. But more on that later. So the first Gremlins, written by Chris Columbus, who pretty prolific screenwriter in the 80s, and directed like Home Alone and
first Harry Potter.
And the first two Harry Potters. And it's directed by Joe Dante, and I thought you would like this. He started his career with a very strong interest in animation, which I think
I understand.
You picked up on pretty quickly in the Gremlins when we were watching it. Mm-hmm. But then he eventually moved into films, and I love this. He directed a couple episodes of Police Squad.
Nice.
Do you remember Police Squad?
Yeah, of course.
Which is, in case you don't know, what the Naked Gun movies are based on. It was a TV show first. But he also did a movie called Piranha, which was like kind of like a spoof of, not a spoof, but like almost like a Jaws ripoff.
Yeah. I didn't know that he directed that.
Yeah. And then he did like The Burbs and Inner Space and Matinee and things like that. And then, what do you think of Gremlins? Do you like it?
I do, very much. It is, it's funny because it's such a dark comedy.
Yeah.
It is such a dark comedy. There's a lot of death for it being a comedy.
When we were rewatching this, I'd forgotten how much of a horror movie this is.
Yeah.
Really. Like in my head, I was like, oh, it's kind of like a dark comedy, like one of those dark Christmas movies. Actually, now I'm saying like it's one of those dark Christmas movies, but I don't know. Were there a lot of those types of movies before Gremlins? The kind of...
That wasn't flat out horror. There's like, what is it? Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Stuff like that. But I mean like kind of like a dark holiday movie that wasn't a full-on slasher movie or something.
No, not that I can think of.
I mean, I guess A Wonderful Life is kind of dark, but
there is
but that one's more sad than this one's dark.
It is, it's super dark, and it's you're laughing at how there are amusing ways in which people get killed by the Gremlins. And
right.
The Gremlins are funny, like they're amusing, and but at the same time they're terrible.
They are.
Like it's like such a mix of like they're the terrible monsters that are invading this small town and everything like that, but at the same time they're like very, very funny little creatures. I mean, I jumped, and I remember jumping out of my seat at the end of that movie with when the melty version of Spike jumps out of the water fountain.
Right. Well,
like, I remember
big
like,
jump scare.
Yeah.
Which, so many like horror movies do.
It is. It's kind of a trope.
Yeah, but it still works. There's a reason why it's a trope, I guess. Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen the original Gremlins in a really long time, but I remember watching it quite a bit when I was a teenager because it was, it's always on like HBO or Showtime or, things like that. So I remember watching it, and this was like a really fun rewatch because I had forgotten how horror movie it is, which, because that's just not how I remembered it. And Gizmo is so cute.
Gizmo's so cute. And it's funny, too, because you don't expect it to be as dark as it is. Because it starts out 100% Spielberg-y. Yeah. In the little shop, and he picks him up, and he's like a cute little creature thing. And, like, you really don't expect it to get... It kind of...
Well, you think it's going to be like almost like an E.T., right? Like, he's going to bring him home, and, like, the...
But I do remember,
and Billy, played by Zach Galligan, they're going to bond and they're going to have adventures or something.
I seem to recall, though, like in the trailer that, it's not good, because I think in the trailer they actually show the evil woman shooting out of the house in her chair that goes up the stairway.
Right. Which is a totally stupid, pointless storyline that we probably didn't need.
Well, it's good that she's an unlikable person that gets it.
I guess so.
It makes you feel better when they have a comedic ending to their...
That's what you get for being an evil old lady.
The Scrooge of the piece.
Yeah, she is the Scrooge of the piece, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the movie stars Zach Galligan,
Yeah.
Phoebe Cates, Hoyt Axton, Frances Lee McCain, that's his mother, plays Billy's mother.
She's great in it.
And she's awesome. And I want to talk about her in a minute. Corey Feldman, Key Luke, and Howie Mandel is the voice of Gizmo. Gizmo.
Yeah.
Bright light. Good job, Howie Mandel.
I forgot Judge
It's the
Reinhold.
best. And Judge Reinhold, who, so we watched the movie and we were like, some things got cut from this movie because Judge Reinhold wasn't like, a huge star, but like,
He had a lot of work.
but he had made Fast Times at Ridgemont High and stuff, and he was in this pretty small part in this movie. And then we watched some of the deleted scenes, and there's definitely more to his asshole character.
Well, what's funny is that they build him. It's weird because they build him up as enough of a character that you know that he's not a good person.
Right.
But then he's just gone from the movie. Like,
You never see him again.
You never see him again. There's no mention of him again.
Right.
So it just seemed like a weird. But yeah, when you get on the Blu-ray, there's like the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because you watch every deleted scene, you're like, oh, I can see why they got rid of that.
Right. They're
good cuts.
basically
They're
when
good
they
cuts.
go back to the bank, they see that the boss is dead and that Judge Reinhold has locked himself in the vault.
And there's a whole plot about how they're gonna buy up all the real estate.
They're
and
buying
build,
up all the real estate. They're
evil real estate development.
yeah, like every
subplot.
80s movie, it's all about
Bad.
the evil, like an evil greedy person that wants to buy up all the real estate and put a factory and kick the working man while they're down. You know,
It is the way of the 80s.
it is the way of the 80s. So I wanted to talk about Billy's mom.
Okay.
Because probably my favorite scene where the Gremlins have like hatched from their thing. Mm-hmm. And she goes into her kitchen and the Gremlins have taken over the kitchen, right? And I just like how badass his mom is. Like
She goes into full Ripley.
she's not stupid. She's super smart. Like she pushes one in the microwave. She puts one in the blender. Like all these things that happen. She is just super smart. And it's one of the, it's like a good representation for me for a lot of the things that happen in the movie where I feel like everyone's pretty smart.
Yeah.
They're not dum-dums who are like, I'm going to investigate a strange noise or what, I think that happens a lot in the second one. I don't think it happens a lot in this one.
Well, look, I mean, there's always I always get tired of, and it's a typical horror movie thing, and it happens in The Blob and everything, where the one person knows what's going on and nobody believes them.
It's the most frustrating thing in movies.
And that's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's like, it's in so many movies.
Right.
And there's a little bit of that in Gremlins with the police, but they learn their lesson.
But it happens even more in the new batch.
Oh, yeah.
That's why, maybe another reason why it wasn't my fave. But I'm not done talking about Gremlins yet.
Yeah.
So, Billy.
Billy.
Probably the worst pet owner ever, yeah?
Oh yeah, no, they the guy, the owner of the little Chinese shop was like, he was right. They were not ready. They were not.
He, in both movies, bad things happen to Gizmo within 24 hours of being in Billy's presence.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't. He should not own a pet.
I wouldn't trust him with a turtle.
He's good with the dog. He's good with his dog.
I guess so.
In the first movie.
I'm surprised the dog has lived this long.
Well, he's not in the second one. I will say this though, like, I love the dog in Gremlins.
Yeah.
I think the dog is actually, it's funny because I think it's so ridiculous when they have like expressive dog reactions to things. Yeah. Especially if you accompany it with a record scratch.
Yeah. You also love fake dog paws.
I love fake paws. Yeah. But the dog is great. in Gremlins.
Yeah.
Like he does react to things, but it's not like so cartoonish, but he is like a active character. He's not just like a prop dog running around and stuff. He actually is kind of part of the story a little bit.
That's true. Speaking of dark, originally the dog was supposed to die.
Really?
The Gremlins were supposed to eat him, and the mom was supposed to die.
Oh, really? I'm glad they didn't go that dark.
Yeah. I also read that Spike and Gizmo were originally like the same thing. Like Gizmo turns into Spike.
Oh, like Two-Face, almost.
Yeah.
That's they were thinking dark. Then.
Yeah, but then Spielberg, I guess, was like, "No, Gizmo's cute. Everyone will love him.
We can sell toys." They had a lot of Gremlins toys.
Oh my gosh! Did you have any of them?
Bad ones? No, I don't remember having any.
I don't think I ever had any. Did you play any of the video games?
I did not.
That kind of surprises me.
Well, keep in mind in the 80s, video games were expensive.
True. Did you play E.T.?
No, I didn't have an Atari.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I had a ColecoVision. I had a ColecoVision. So if it wasn't licensed enough for... ColecoVision actually had War Games, the game.
Is it just tic-tac-toe?
I don't know. I never got it. I wanted it because I wanted to start a, I wanted to start a nuclear war.
Of course.
But there actually was a War Games, the game on the ColecoVision.
That's disturbing.
Yeah. So yeah, they didn't have much...
I had the E.T. game.
Oh, wow. You actually...
Because we had an Atari.
Yeah.
It's not a good game.
Yeah, it's famous for not being
It's famous for not being very good. There's a whole documentary about it.
But I thought... Because I think... Even back in those days, like in those days...
back in my days, Petridge Farm remembers.
Yeah, like I think games in the 80s, cartridges, at least for the ColecoVision, were like, I think they're like $50. But that's in 1983 money, so getting a game for your console was actually pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Like when you went over to a kid's house, they didn't generally have a huge library of cartridges.
No, they had like 5 games.
Yeah, like
and one of them was Combat.
Yeah.
We all had Combat because it came with the Atari.
Yeah.
And then, you probably had Pac-Man.
Yeah, Activision just came in and kicked Atari's butts too with some of their...
I don't even remember what Activision had. Well, Activision had like Pitfall and stuff, right? Yeah,
Pitfall.
But you could play that on the Atari.
Yeah, no, I know. Activision made stuff.
Oh,
for
right.
And they made the graphics look so much better.
Yeah. Oh, Pitfall was the shit.
Yeah, it was huge. Huge.
But now we're talking. Now, welcome to our video game podcast. Back in my day, we played Pong.
Back to Gremlins.
What's your favorite part in Gremlins?
That's a good question. I don't know what my favorite part is.
Because I love the part with the mom in the kitchen. I already mentioned my part.
I think the stuff that happens in the bar is really funny.
Right.
I think the Gremlins all singing along to Snow White is hilarious. Especially the guy with the popcorn bags on his ears. Like, he's awesome. I like the little noir kind of like at the table.
Right.
And in the bar. The bar stuff's really funny.
You like the movie theater thing, too. I remember you cracking up at all the stuff in the movie theater.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. They're entertaining evil little creatures.
They really are. It's a good movie.
Yeah, no, it totally holds up. You can't go into it. You just have to know that it is not for kids. Like
that's why they have a PG-13 rating now, because that summer it was Gremlins and Temple of Doom, both rated PG. These movies are not PG movies at all. Like, watching them now, you're like, what?
I only remember, the main thing in Temple of Doom, right, is pulling out the heart. Like, that's the...
Yeah, well, and they're, like, whipping kids and stuff. It's kind of messed up.
Well, there's a few things wrong with Temple of Doom.
Just a few.
There's a few things. Few things wrong with it.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode about that sometime if you'd like.
Yeah.
All I know is David is so lucky that he has never seen Crystal Skull.
No, I have avoided Crystal Skull. I have not seen it. I will not see it.
You are so smart.
In my world, Indiana Jones ends with
He rides off into the sunset with his dad.
he rides off into the sunset with his dad, and also the whole young Indy stuff with what's his name? Phoenix.
Oh, River Phoenix.
River Phoenix. That's canon.
That's canon.
That's canon. Anything beyond that, it's not canon.
So,
Gremlins 2?
yeah, you want to talk about Gremlins 2?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Look, I understand that a lot of people love Gremlins 2.
I don't know if a lot of people do, though. Do they?
I really didn't like this movie at all, and I felt bad watching it with you because you seemed to really...
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was really enjoying it, and I was just like... I was just rolling my eyes and so annoyed, and I was like, I can't believe this is Gremlins 2 when it feels like Gremlins 4 or 5. Like,
Yeah.
like the idea that they've already run out of ideas, and now they're like... It's really like 2 hours of... They're just gremlins running around doing bad things.
It's all Gremlins. It's like they just the Gremlins being funny is going to be the whole movie.
There's like no...
It's definitely not as dark.
What?
It's not even close
it's
to
not.
being
No,
as-
it's not even as no,
dark.
it's nowhere near as dark. I just
or
didn't.
suspenseful.
I just didn't. I didn't like it at all, and maybe because we watched it so close, like we watched them like one right after the other, like over 2 days or whatever. I just didn't like it at all. I thought it was stupid. I thought it didn't have any story to tell. I thought it was mean. Like, they spend a lot of time torturing Gizmo in this movie, and I was like, but I like Gizmo. I don't want to watch that.
But that's how he becomes Rambo. Like, that's his character. Like, they even have the line like, they pushed him too hard. And then you look at his eyes, and he's got like this look of like...
It just didn't work for me at all. I didn't like when they broke the fourth wall. I don't like it when they're in the theater and they're showing the movie that they're in, or and they ruin the projector and Hulk Hogan's like, you put that movie back on. Like, I don't like any of it.
So...
But you love it, and you saw it in the theater, and you told me
Yes.
that people loved that part in the theater.
Yeah, because, well, it's almost, I don't know. There's certain movies where it really was meant to see in a theater and not really be on the theater at all. And in terms of breaking the fourth wall, like, that does not happen too often. And I remember seeing in the theater thinking that there's some little audio whatever thing going on. Mm-hmm. And I just remember people laughing, and then I thought it was so funny when they start doing the shadow puppets. They're doing like, I'm a butterfly or a bird or whatever. Right. And then the one gremlin does with his hands in the shadow against the screen. He does like an absolutely like perfect silhouette of Abraham Lincoln with the top hat and the beard and everything like that. Like, that was a funny gag.
I just couldn't get into this one. Like, once again, like, Billy's like the most awful pet owner ever. Like, gets Gizmo.
He does rescue Gizmo. Yeah,
but then like 5 minutes later, he just leaves him in a drawer somewhere, and of course, like, someone spills water on him, and
yeah, but Gizmo, he was told to stay in the drawer.
So he brought this shit on himself.
He was told he said he would stay in the drawer, and the first thing he does, the minute Billy leaves, he's already got the escape rope made out of
paper clips.
Mm-hmm. So really, Gizmo brought it upon himself too.
I know people like it.
Yeah.
I just don't like it at all.
I don't think
I know. I realized, like, I can see why people might like it. Like, it's very cartoony.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a very silly movie, and that's fine. But I found myself very annoyed by it. I just couldn't get into it.
I think part of it is, and I think this was very telling in that the movie starts, and it actually starts with a Warner Brothers cartoon opening with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And you turn to me and you say, like, is there a cartoon before the movie? Like, the whole movie is a live action Warner Brothers cartoon. Like, blatantly, like gags taken directly from Warner, but like the whole thing with the film breaking and the interacting with the audience, like that's Daffy Duck talking to the animator to draw him in different clothes and all that other stuff too. Like it's very so many of those gags are just live action versions of Warner Brothers. It is weird though, because Gremlins was such a huge success, and Gremlins 2 is absolutely nothing. Gremlins 2 is making fun of itself so much. I mean, the whole thing, like with Phoebe Cates.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the whole emotional thing in the first movie about Christmas Eve and her dad in the chimney and all this, which is a crazy, ridiculous, far-fetched story anyway. I don't know how many people have actually died in chimneys.
It's an urban legend. I don't know if it's actually true.
I don't know. And then, like, in the Gremlins 2, there's this whole moment, like, and it's back to Lincoln's, like, Lincoln's birthday. Tell him bring about Lincoln's birthday. And, like, she has this whole other thing about this whole other holiday. And they're like, oh, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, they even make fun of her whole thing in the first. And I remember thinking that was funny in the theater.
Yeah. I really wanted to like it.
And I love Tony Randall in it.
Actually, I think...
Didn't you like Tony Randall?
Well, sure.
And didn't you like it
I'm not made of stone.
And didn't you like it when there's like the little gremlin and he just like pulls out a gun and just like shoots the other gremlin?
No, I don't remember.
On his interview with the Dracula guy?
I don't remember liking that at all.
I think there's some funny...
I did like it when... Although part of the movie frustrates me too, though. It frustrates me, like what you were saying about, like, Billy knows what's happening and he's trying to convince people what's happening.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't believe you. And he goes to, like, the security of the building, because that's the thing. The Gremlins have taken over, like, this totally modern
Clamp Enterprises
building, right?
And it's mockery of Trump, like,
and Ted Turner, and
it is a Trump Turner thing.
Yeah,
huh?
It's like a weird Trump Turner hybrid or something, but John Glover's way more likable than both of those dudes.
Yeah, well, he's not
a monster.
He's not a villain in the movie.
No, he could have been. It's actually.
He's actually not.
I'll give it points for originality for that. He could have been like a stupid villain who's like, I'm going to make money off the Gremlins, and, but they don't do that. So good on them for that. But there's, Billy's trying to explain to, like, the security guys, like, what the Gremlins are, and he's explaining the rules.
So what's his name? Picardo, the doctor from Star Trek Voyager.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he's explaining the rules, like, you can't feed them after midnight and you don't get them wet and stuff like that. And, like, the security guards are like, well, what if they're on a plane and you're flying and you go in a different time zone and you feed them? Then it's not technically after midnight. Like,
which is valid.
I was like, those are great questions. And then the Gremlins jump out and kill them all. And I was like, well, that's not fair. Those were valid questions.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It is true. But what's that actor's name again? The guy who plays
I think his name is Robert Picardo.
Robert Picardo. Okay, so here's another part of the movie.
He's the hologram doctor.
Right, that I don't love about this movie.
Yeah.
The end of this movie, where he's trapped in the bathroom with a
female gremlin.
I guess a female gremlin.
Haughty female gremlin.
Yeah, I get.
With Botox.
I don't understand. I don't understand how there's, like, male and female gremlins when they all just mate by having water dumped on them.
I think that was a Kardashian.
Silly me.
On a good day.
On a good day.
Yeah.
So she's like, and you're gonna marry me, basically. So like the gremlin's in like her veil and her dress and her lips are all made up, and he's got lipstick like all over his face. Like the gremlin's clearly been like making out with him, and he's like, God, someone help me. And the gremlin's like, she's like walking towards him, like, you know, she's gonna get him, and then he's horrified.
He's in a wedding dress.
Yeah, but then as she's like getting closer, his face changes from horrified to kind of, I'm gonna hit that.
I'll accept my fate.
Yeah,
She's pretty. I'm alone.
I'm gonna fuck that gremlin. Is basically how that movie ends.
I'm not a popular person. I'm gonna take what I can. I'll settle down.
Come on, though. That's
Warner
pretty
Brothers.
Stupid.
That's pretty Warner Brothers cartoon.
David, he's gonna fuck that gremlin.
But
he's gonna hit that. Is that what Gremlins 3 is gonna be? By the way, they're weird, like gremlin human hybrid.
No, they're gonna have a. You know what? I'm not one to judge other people's relationships. They're going to have a very, you know what? He's been searching for something. He's been empty his whole life. He's never found that perfect person. And he's had this, and that is why he is as mean as he is. And he finally found that one little creature.
I have been looking at this movie all wrong. This movie's a romantic comedy.
They live a happy. I've done a lot of erotic fan fiction about Robert Picardo and a Botox Kardashian gremlin. And it's emotional. It's beautiful. It'll make you weep.
I think if they make a part 3, they should absolutely, like, he's married to the gremlin, and like they're super happy.
Yeah,
like they're just living together in some track housing in like the suburbs.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're just together, and it's like, why wouldn't he be married to the gremlin from Gremlins 2? They totally hit it off. They have a lot in common.
They're
both they both hate Billy. They, want to do horrible things to people.
People get together with the wrong person in movies all the time. And 1990
so I like your argument that this is somehow progressive.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's progressive. I think he found love. It's funny though. Like when I saw
you are so romantic.
I didn't. I wasn't a. I didn't. It didn't rub me the wrong way. It didn't rub me the wrong way when I saw it in the theater. I thought it was funny in the theater, and it didn't rub me the wrong way. The thing that's funny though is watching this movie. Like there are moments where I'm like, that's funny, and then I look at you and you have this look on your face of like, oh brother, and then there are moments. And then there are moments where there's some things that I remember being funny, and then it wasn't as funny. And I don't know if that's because there's a general kind of like a pall upon the crowd. Like it wasn't like I wasn't in a theater with people laughing along. Like
well, that's why I was feeling bad. I'm like, I feel bad that we're watching something and you're enjoying it, and I'm not.
It's not
because I'm worried that like I'm giving off the vibe of this is shitty.
Yeah,
and I'm dampering your good time. Like I don't want to do that ever.
No, it's not a good film. Like I don't think anyone who, even people that like it, I don't think they're gonna say like, oh, this is a really good movie. Like it is. I don't think it doesn't take itself seriously at all. It is weird because you really could do a good follow-up to the first.
That's the thing.
Gremlins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why that didn't happen. I don't know what the decision was. Like, we're going to do it, and we're going to totally make fun of Gremlins.
Right.
Because it is a completely different satirical.
Do you think that's
thing.
Because Gremlins came out in 84. This comes out in 90. So we're talking 6 years later. In between there, we got a couple of like Gremlin knockoffs. We got like Ghoulies. Yeah. Which you and I watched over October. I would love to watch Ghoulies too. We should watch Ghoulies too. Critters. Wasn't there one called Troll or Trolls or something like that? Anyway, we got kind of these like knockoffs. Do you think maybe by the time Gremlins 2 was like in production, they were worried that like they were kind of played out and they needed to do like kind of a spoof of their movie?
I wonder if they thought that the audiences had matured and a Gremlins-ish movie isn't gonna work again. Like maybe they think like, I don't think we can pull this off twice. Right. So we're gonna do one, but we're going to, because I don't know what were the big movies of '90? Like what were the big? Jurassic Park was '91.
Right.
So you're on the precipice of effects and everything kind of making a pretty huge leap. So maybe they thought
Goodfellas, Home Alone, Jacob's Ladder, Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Dances with Wolves, Total Recall.
So maybe, Total Recall. That's a movie. So I don't know. Maybe they just thought because so many years had passed that they couldn't necessarily pull from the same gremlin again.
Right. Well, like I keep thinking about, Wes Craven makes Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. And it's totally awesome and everyone loves Nightmare on Elm Street. And of course there's the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies and then there's all these kind of knockoffs of that type of movie. So then in order to kind of take it back, you make something like Scream, right? That kind of
because the Gremlins is not gonna the Gremlins of that year, maybe they thought that's not going to be scary anymore in '90. So what do you do with it? It's going to just feel like kind of more of the same, or are they going to have to up the level of it and make it a PG-13 thing? One thing I also liked about Gremlins 2, by the way, is I love the
part where that guy fucks that gremlin.
That's pretty good. That's good. No, I love the over-the-air speaker system in Gremlins 2, by the way, it's all in this office building, Clamp Towers, and everyone's trapped in Clamp Towers, and nobody can leave, and the Gremlins can't leave until it's dark.
Right.
So they're waiting for it to get dark, then they're all going to flee the coop. And then, of course, everything is super modern and technical and top of the line, and just like the inventions in Gremlins, nothing works correctly.
Yes, and they have technology's always failing everybody.
Technology's always failing, and they have this audio system that's like, welcome to Clamp Towers, and everything, like the elevator doesn't work well. But I just love like how like you go into the men's room and like the general voice like, come on in, pal. Like,
welcome to the men's
welcome
room.
To the men's room. Go out there, like...
Yeah. Or the guy was leaving. He's like, hope you washed your hands.
Hope you washed your hands, fella. Or something, some like weird thing. And then like somebody pulls the fire alarm. It's like, fire, the ancient unknown. It's like this whole monologue. Like,
you know what else made me laugh? Actually,
it's actually very funny.
When the John Glover character, Clamp, Mr. Clamp, give him the clamps. Mm-hmm. When Mr. Clamp plays the video that I never thought we'd have to play this video, and it's about like the end of the world.
Yes.
And it's actually, that part is really funny. Like their video is like with the American flag, and it's basically like, we had a good run.
We had a great run. Yeah. There's
I'm like, that part I did actually like.
There's yeah, so I think there are some funny gags to it.
There are, but not enough to...
Save it for you.
No. I found it very hard to watch. I think the movie felt really mean to me. And the characters I like... It's weird to say I like Billy, but I guess I kind of care about Billy, even though he's a terrible pet owner. And I like Phoebe Cates a lot. I always like Phoebe Cates. But they're just not given a lot to do. It just, like I said, it always felt like, it feels like a Gremlins 4 or 5.
Yeah. I think you could make a criticism that that movie is sort of a testament to how what works in a cartoon for violence humor does not work for live action
Right.
humor.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they tried to do the thing in The Mask, and that didn't really work.
I'd rather watch The Mask than watch Gremlins.
Roger Rabbit does it great.
Yeah. I like The Mask, actually. I haven't seen it in a long time, though.
I think last time I saw it was in the theater.
Maybe it might be the last time.
And the last time I saw Gremlins 2 was in the theater, too. So it has been a long time.
They've been talking about making a Gremlins 3, but I don't think it's really going to be about the guy living with the gremlin and they're all married and happy.
I think they stalled. I think, wasn't it stalled, though? Wasn't the... you know what? Hollywood is so...
Who knows?
They're so desperate to do
If they-
reinvent and like redo the same thing.
Right.
I'm sure they're going to do another Gremlins.
Yeah. Do you think they would just reboot it, or do you think they would make a full-on like part 3? Like,
I think they will. They'll probably skip the second one as if it was Superman 3. I think they'll skip it entirely. I don't know how much Phoebe doesn't act anymore. I don't think she's
I don't
doing
think she
anything.
does, right?
And I don't know
Which is
what
too bad
Zach-
because she's super great. I love Phoebe Cates.
Yeah, she's good. What I like about her is, like, of course, everybody in the 80s had a crush on Phoebe Cates. She's
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
yeah, she's
right?
beautiful. And but what I like about her is that she's got she's not just like she's like cute. She's like cute, likable. She's not like yeah.
I'm like what?
I don't know. Like she's one of the she's not like one of these blatant like Pamela Anderson
Yeah,
whatever.
sure.
Like
I
she's
see-
like
I hear what you're saying.
Cute, likable girl next door kind of thing.
But she's pretty.
Not like
she's
Vamp.
hot though.
She's hot. She does the vamp thing in
Fast
Times at Ridgemont High. But really, that's just in the one.
Well, and that's just
one
like
bit.
his imagination.
And that's
even.
in Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, Judge Reinhold.
That movie's messed up too.
Yeah.
That movie's not funny in parts.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's Spicoli.
Yeah. No, that's the part. Everyone's like, I'm learning about Cuba, having some food.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey man, let's party. Like that's the stuff everyone remembers, and then they watch it and they're like, holy shit, that
it's really
chick's
dark.
getting an abortion.
Yeah, it's like you see like, oh, I love Saturday Night Fever. It's all about him dancing. There's some other stuff.
You're in for a disappointment.
There's some other stuff in it. Wah wah.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot on this show lately, kind of revisiting these movies, and then you're like, oh shit, that's rapey as hell. Like, just
Well, it's
things
not
like
even
that.
it's not only that it's like rapey and they got away with it, but you forget how there are dark parts in it.
Right.
And you forget how there's some serious stuff
Yeah.
in it. You just
Yeah.
remember the funny bits, and you just kind of...
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely true.
Like,
of
we're
Saturday
talking-
Night Fever.
Yeah.
Like when they show like clips of Saturday Night Fever, it's him in the white suit and
It's
he's
just
on
him dancing.
and he's like on the disco dance
And
floor
then
and
you
he's
see Airplane, and then he's dancing in Airplane
Yeah.
to imitate Saturday Night
yeah, but then
Fever.
you watch Saturday Night Fever and you're like, holy shit! Like he full on tries to rape a woman at one point.
Well,
A friend commits suicide.
Jumps off a bridge.
Yeah, this movie's messed up.
Yeah, no, it's got some dark themes to it.
It's got adult content.
Adult content, MA.
It's rated
Parental
PG.
advisory advice. Yeah. So I don't know. Gremlin, and I think it's funny too with Gremlins. There's such Warner Brothers product placement in it too. Like they had.
Yeah.
It's 1990. 89 was, when the first Batman, Michael Keaton came out, was 89, right?
Yep.
And so this comes out in 90, and you've got a gremlin with a Warner Brothers tattoo on his chest, and
Yeah.
he flies out the...
Yeah, he flies out the wall or something,
wall,
and it makes
it's
the bat
Batman.
symbol. Yeah.
It's the bat symbol. Like, there's a lot of self-promotion in it, too.
This one did not work for me.
That's okay. You know what? I don't think people have the love for it that you think they may do. I think I'm kind of alone.
I don't know if that's true, but hopefully people can chime in when this episode comes out.
Some humor to it. I still say that there's some funny parts, and just pretend that it's not related to Gremlins, the first movie, at all. But I still think there are some funny bits.
That's really good of you.
Wasn't it cute when Gizmo's dancing and the two twin guys are like dancing back and forth with each other?
Sure. We haven't even talked about Christopher Lee.
Yeah. He's the only death, really. Other people probably die, but I mean, he's the one that you blatantly see death, but he has it coming to him too.
Because he's playing God.
Well, and he's the one that says like, can't wait to, he's the one that's like vivisecting.
Yeah.
Cutting up. He runs Splice of Life. SOL, by the way.
Yeah.
It's what it's called. It's like you can see where they do the genetic testing and splicing.
The other thing that did make me smile was in their lab when the cow walks by and it's got like a thing on its head so they could read
a colander, like a salad
like
colander,
they could like
pasta colander.
Read his thoughts, and the cow's like, I like giving milk.
Yeah. There's some funny.
I like that. That was funny.
There's some misses, but there are a few little hits to it.
So I don't know if you answered my question. Which one is your favorite Gremlins knockoff? Did you see Critters?
I have not seen Critters.
I'm pretty sure I saw Critters.
I have not seen.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I saw Goonies.
We saw Ghoulies.
Ghoulies, but I don't know if that's. Is that really a knockoff?
Kinda, isn't it?
It's more of a horror movie.
Yeah, but they're little creatures that wreak havoc.
It's like a Killer Clowns from Outer Spacey sort of ish movie. I don't know. I didn't really. I don't know. I've not seen much of the Gremlins inspired films. I don't think.
Well, I think we need to see Ghoulies too, and then maybe we need to watch Critters, and we can revisit.
True.
I'm just looking for a reason to say Ghoulies.
Yeah.
Ghoulies. It's fun.
That was not a good movie. Ghoulies.
I would much rather watch Ghoulies than Gremlins 2.
Would you?
Mm-hmm. And that's not just the beer talking.
For once.
For once. So, is there anything else you want to talk about with our Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch?
No. I don't think so.
No?
I think they both can be had on the super. I mean, people should definitely, if they haven't seen Gremlins in a long time, watch it.
It holds up.
It. Yeah, it holds up.
You know what? That's the other thing, actually, before we go. I think the first one feels a little bit more timeless than the second one. The second one feels super 90s.
Oh, absolutely. It's not. Yeah, there's nothing.
Whereas the first one, like, other than the fact that nobody in it has cell phones, like it holds up. It's got like a more timeless quality to it, I guess, than Gremlins 2. So maybe it's more like Gremlins 2 hasn't aged as well.
I don't think anybody who worked on it even think that it would have a second life. I don't think they thought even beyond when they wrapped it. I think they did it, set it, forget it, it's done.
Maybe.
I don't know. It is one of those, it's kind of, I know I keep going back to the Warner Brothers cartoons things, but it just reminds me of something I hear a lot in animation, and that is the Warner Brothers cartoons and Disney were so different, and Disney did not want to do any caricatures of people of the time or anything like that, because they wanted Disney to be timeless. Mm-hmm. And Warner Brothers stuff was of the moment and was not timeless. It was and Disney and the Disney view was like it would be dated.
Right.
And it is kind of funny. You'll see an old Warner Brothers cartoon now, like the Oscars and stuff like that, and we'll recognize some of the caricatures of the actors because we watch Turner Classic Movies and stuff like that. But they're definitely like caricatures of people we don't know.
For sure.
But at the same time, like the Warner Brothers shorts are the best things ever. So they're still funny as funny as hell.
Well, and you're a huge animation fan, so there's probably a lot going on in Gremlins 2 that you're noticing that maybe is slipping by me. Right?
I don't know. You could do what's funny is Gremlins 2, where the Gremlins go with all the splicing and everything like that. It's almost an alien cubed. Where you have we have dog alien now, and we have this alien. Like we have like different flavors of alien. Like now we have different flavors of gremlin.
Right.
It's like Baskin Robbins.
That's why I keep saying like it feels like a later Gremlin to me, because like the first one we had like a certain number of gremlins, and they take over a town, and then like Gremlins 2 should be like maybe they take over like a big city, right? So it'd be like they took New York or whatever. Gremlins take Manhattan or whatever. Yeah. And there's just more of them. And instead this one like jumps immediately to what would happen in like 4 or 5, where it's like now we have one that's like Batman, and we have one that's like electricity, and then we have one that,
or it's like Freddy versus Jason, or or Jason in space, or it's
that's what I'm saying,
like Dream Warriors for Nightmare on Elm Street.
People love Dream Warriors, though. That's the third one.
Do people love it? Yeah,
people love that one.
I feel sorry for the nerd that dies.
Yeah, that's not fair. He didn't deserve that. No, this one feels like they could have had like Gremlins versus Ghoulies, and I would have been like, of course. Just another reason for me to say Ghoulies.
It is another reason.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you on the internet? Or do you not want people to find you on the internet?
There's really no place to find me on the internet.
That's my husband, you guys. Yeah. He's awesome.
Sorry. No. Gashly Crumb on
the Twitter.
On the Twitter and the Instacart. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of it.
You guys should totally follow him on Instacart.
Yeah. Smart and Final.
He orders the best stuff from Smart and Final.
On the Instagrams.
Yeah. Who wants to know about all the red vines and goldfish crackers we order?
It's true. Yeah, that's kind of it.
This was really fun, though. Thanks for watching Gremlins with me.
Sure.
And Gremlins 2.
Yeah, thanks for watching Gremlins 2, really.
And drinking Narwhal Stout with me. Mm-hmm. And if you want to know more about what they're doing, go to the Sierra Nevada website and learn about the special IPA they're brewing.
Yeah, and drink some Resilience.
Do it. It's for a good cause. You can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com and on Twitter at Dorking Out Show. And you can find me, Sonia, at The Sonia Show on Twitter. That's Sonia with an I. And sometimes I post on Facebook for Dorking Out, sometimes on Instagram, but mainly Twitter. And this was super fun. Mogwai. Bright light. And goodbye.